Hi, my name is LaVonda, and this is More Than Homemaking. I kind of just am gonna jump into this. I'm making Sunday dinner, and I felt like I should also kind of tell about my journey that I've been on. But first, let's just kind of jump into what I'm making today. So I've got some chicken wings that I've already cleaned, and I'm about to season them, get them ready for the oven. Also, unless you're joining me, we'll be making some roasted potatoes and cabbage and cornbread. So let's get started. So kind of on this journey of homemaking, I've been, why'd I put these on? Well, you know what, let me season first and then we'll get into that. And I've been on this journey of just homemaking, whether I was a stay-at-home mom and kind of caring for my family, or and this is just a seasoning blend that I'm using. That's salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, that I just make myself. And I'm gonna use the rest of this parsley that I have because there's not a lot in here and I kind of just want to get it over with. We'll also be adding onions, bell peppers, and garlic to this, minced garlic. So I'm going to drizzle some olive oil over the chicken wings, and then kind of get it mixed up in there. But I've been on this homemaking journey since I got married, 17 and a half years ago. But a stay-at-home mom for a good chunk of that, and recently kind of started working again. And my focus has always been making sure our family and our kids always had, my husband and our kids always had a safe, peaceful place to come back home to, and that it was beautiful, and that it smelled nice, that it was clean, and all these things. I realized in that journey that it wasn't just me kind of being just a homemaker, but I was also shaping the hearts of my family toward each other, towards me, towards God. And as long as my attitude, right, was, whoa, we lost one. All right, we'll spray that and clean that up. Was as long as my heart was in that same place, right? Because as homemakers, we are the thermostats, right, for our home. We kind of set the temperature. If we're having a bad day and it starts and it's showing, then it throws everybody else's day off too, right? Because they're walking on eggshells, and that's exactly what we don't want. So the goal is that we're shaping our hearts, the hearts of our family. This looks really good. Towards in a loving way, and also that making sure they feel loved. And so that's kind of always been my focus, a peaceful, loving home. So I'm just gonna fold up these wings and get them on the tray. And I just have a full sheet tray with, do I want those like that? I don't, I'm gonna turn another way. Full sheet tray that I covered in, maybe I do. We'll flip them anyway, so yeah, it doesn't matter. That I covered in foil, and we're gonna get going. So, man, this journey's kind of been a long time coming, because I've been saying that I was gonna start this for a while, and then I just couldn't, fear just holds you back, I don't know, from doing the things that you really want to do. And then there's a point where you just have to jump in. And so I'm just jumping back in really, and starting again. Food is my passion. My family is also my passion, and God is my passion. So my faith plays a huge role in what I don't know, our life looks like. Oh, thought I heard it. A ding. and what our home looks like, and what the journey that I'm on looks like, I guess. And also, again, food. So there we go. So we finished all the chicken. I'm gonna take these gloves off, dump them, move this into the sink to get cleaned. That way, let me spray this real quick. So I couldn't find, someone moved my disinfectant spray, so I had to use a little bit of Comment, because you know, when there's raw meat involved, especially raw chicken, when raw chicken is involved, you definitely want some disinfecting happening, i.e. bleach or whatever disinfectant that you choose to use. But all right, so we got the chicken ready. I'm gonna chop up the bell peppers and onions that I want to go on top of here. I'm also gonna put bell peppers and onions in the cabbage. Here's a close-up of what we've got going before I put everything away. The chicken covered with onions, bell peppers, seasoning, all the love. we're gonna get that in the oven. Okay, so now I'm gonna focus on this cabbage. I don't think we need the whole thing. So I'm gonna cook, there's 5 of us in our family, by the way. So I'm gonna cook half of this cabbage. So pull off some of the pieces. It's been in the fridge for about 3 days. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this in half and then I'll wrap the other half of the cabbage. Okay, this one's a little bit smaller, so I'll do the larger half here. Get these potatoes ready to go, and I don't know what I did with my paring knife, but it's not in there. Oh no, okay, I had a couple, and you know, sometimes our kids do the dishes as well, so things get put in the dishwasher they probably shouldn't at times. So there's a learning curve. I think I had to toss it because it started to, like, it had to get rust on there. It was getting rust on it, but I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna use this boning knife to to peel this potato, and this is the fastest way. I know there are potato peelers, but this is, for me, it's much faster to just do it this way. No, that was a little much. Oh. So these are older potatoes. We were out of town. Unfortunately, my mom passed away a few weeks ago. So, and they live in Tennessee, but we're from Michigan, though our family lives in Texas right now. My parents did not and do not. So we had to go for the funeral. So anyway, these potatoes have been sitting here since before we left. So I'm trying to, some of them don't look awesome, but you know, potatoes usually have a long shelf life. So I'm not worried. Not usually, they do. They have a long shelf life. So if some of them don't look great, one, I have to chalk it up to like the times we live in, because let's be honest, a lot of the produce and things that we've been getting are not great. And I'm just putting it into a bowl with water, cold water. But yeah, so all this, I'm trying to just get back into doing regular life and staying busy and grieving. So this is really good for me. It's kind of like how food is how I, cooking, that kind of thing, is kind of like this peaceful place for me. So I enjoy that. Being in the garden is a similar feeling for me as well. So like this one does not look great. So let's kind of cut as much of that wrinkly part off, get down just to see what kind of potato we're working with. So I'm just peeling them for now, and then any part that doesn't look great, taking that off too. And this is just the same bowl from earlier that I've been putting my scraps in. So here we are. Yeah. Trying to decide how many potatoes. I'll probably end up, that's 5. We'll go 6. I'm gonna go 6 potatoes. Actually, yeah, well, this will be the last one. So yeah, I've been just grieving, and we got back home from a long trip. We were gone for close to 2 weeks because we had a memorial for my mom, as well as a funeral. So a memorial where she was where her and my dad lived in Tennessee. And I'm just doing a rough chop on these potatoes because they're gonna go in the oven with some good stuff. So the memorial was in Tennessee, and then her funeral was in Michigan, where we're from. So my family has been gone for a long time, and it was it's good to be home. But you know, that also, with grief, that also brings just another layer of just finality. It all feels, at first it didn't feel real, and then I realized it was, and now it's just like, you know, for those of you who've lost your mom, like, that feeling of not being able to talk to them on the phone at least, or see them, or knowing you won't be able to do that, kind of settles in once it settled in once I got home. It settled in at some point, I'm assuming for everyone, but once I got home, I definitely felt it. So I always put a towel underneath my board so it doesn't slide while I'm using it, but there we go. For some reason, like, I didn't clean the potatoes beforehand because I was peeling them, so the gloves felt right. So if you see me using gloves, it's just my thing sometimes. But I'm keeping the seasonings really simple with black pepper, sea salt, and then some rosemary, and I'm gonna drizzle it with some avocado oil. So here we are in the season, trying to, as I'm navigating like what grief looks like. And because I'm impatient, I want it to be done. I want the feelings to be over. It hasn't even been that long. But I also understand, like, there's a process, and just like in the last few weeks, you know, it's been coming in waves. I realized that will probably always, and based on what I've been told, that'll always kind of be there. Not that I'll ever stop missing my mom, but you know, less moments where I'm just sobbing or crying, you know, where I'm feeling like the pain of grief. That he's just kind of working like on my heart in regards to that, because it was sudden, but I know, you know, my mom would have wanted me to keep doing, and I'm making splashes. She would have wanted me to kind of keep doing, to start the thing that I planned on starting, right? To keep going, to not give in, to not let the grief overcome me and keep me in this place where it's sitting on me, right? And as a believer of Christ, like, I don't... From my last meal yesterday, I made breakfast, so I'm gonna add some of this into a warm pan. It'll heat up. I'm not worried about it. Good thing is going in cold, so some of this is gonna render a good amount of fat off when it goes in like this. So I'm excited for that part. So I don't want too much, because I still want the cabbage to be the star of the show. So I'll add that much in, and then we'll save the rest. Do I normally want the pan to be hotter? Absolutely, because the sizzle is not great. I turn it on. So it's coming up. I'm starting to hear something, so that's good. Let's get that going. So my goal is to use the fat from this beef sausage, so I don't have to add any oils or anything. Just seasoning. Let's go ahead and put this. Yeah, just a little brown is what we're looking for. Just render off some of that fat. I'm gonna add in some garlic. I love a good minced garlic, so this is what we're using. I'm just doing 2 spoonfuls. And I never want to cook the garlic for too long. Actually, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. I'm going to add in going to go ahead and add in these onions and bell peppers. Whoops, lost one. I want that to get a little tender, so we're gonna let that cook down for a little bit, and then we'll add in our cabbage. Now that the vegetables have softened up a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and add in this cabbage. And it's gonna cook down with a little help from some salt. So it looks like a lot in there right now, but that's gonna render, I don't wanna say render because it doesn't, there's no fat on it, but it's gonna cook down. I'm gonna put my seasoning blend on there that I make, and then the water is gonna cook out of this cabbage as it sits. So let me turn this a little bit. So like I said, cabbage has a fair amount of water in it. So it's already cooking down, if you can tell. Sometimes if I don't feel like waiting, I'll add some water or chicken broth. Not a lot, maybe about a cup to the bottom, and then cover it to get it moving along faster. But we got time today. I'm still trying to work out being around more people because I'm not really feeling emotionally ready to be around large crowds of people, so I haven't. My family went to church today without me, and I stayed home. So here we are. Typically, I would make dinner once I got back home, but I want to get into the habit of just before I go to church, preparing dinner and then just keeping it warm. So that's what we'll be focusing on, and just preparing better for all the seasons of life. Our kids start back to school soon, so I'm really, really excited for just the prep involved in that. I know a lot of people may think that's strange, but that is who I am. I enjoy preparing for things and just creating experiences and fun memories. So you guys will get to go along on that journey as well. But yeah, this cabbage is looking good. I can hear, see, if you look, there's not a lot of liquid on the bottom, like hardly any, but this is it's still cooking, so nothing's burning. I haven't added any oil, just the fat from the beef. And the water is cooking out of the cabbage. So that's gonna be really delicious. Sometimes I will add some red pepper flakes, depending on how I'm feeling. I'm not gonna do it today because I already have sausage in there. It's not spicy, but I don't want to overwhelm everybody. So here we are. Let that cook down a little bit longer and get working on the cornbread, which I probably should have started first, but you know, this is life. Okay, so I've transferred the cabbage into this serving dish, and then I'm gonna use the pan. I rinsed it out just a little bit. I'm gonna use that to make a gravy for our smothered chicken. And I'm gonna cheat. Guys. I'm just gonna use water and some chicken bouillon and some cornstarch to thicken it. Then I'll season it. I like a fair amount of pepper in my gravy, so we'll see. I've got this mason jar. I'm gonna put three cups of water in here. I'm gonna sprinkle some of this bouillon in there. So I'm using the chicken bouillon flavor because I don't have any chicken broth. So if you're ever out, this is a great way to substitute. And it says to dissolve a teaspoon in about a cup and a half. So I'm just gonna sprinkle so about a regular spoon and a half into that 3 cups. And then we can always add water later if we need to adjust. So let me turn that water off. I'm just gonna use these tongs since I was already using them. And I don't want a million dirty dishes, even though these go straight into the dishwasher. You know how it is. When the dishwasher gets full, then nobody wants to wash anything by hand. And here we are, stuck, waiting for the next load to finish so we can load. Anything that can be washed in the dishwasher, we wait for it. In an ideal world, I have 2 dishwashers. But that's further along in my journey. I'm grateful for the dishwasher that we have now, because growing up as a kid, we did all the dishes by hand. And I realized I'm watching like a generation of of our parents that still like to wash the dishes by hand, which I totally don't get. Probably because I had to wash dishes as my chore, so I absolutely can't stand it. So any way to get around it, that's where I'm at. Okay, so I'm gonna get this going on high so that we can cook this nicely. I'm gonna add a little bit of seasoning, only because there's not a lot of salt in the seasonings blend that I make. But there's paprika in there, and I want to give this a little bit more color. While that's going, I'm going to make a slurry with the cornstarch, so that while this is boiling and getting going, I can have that ready to go to pour over the chicken, to add it to this, to make it, thicken it up, and then pour over the chicken. So here we are. So I'm gonna take some of this cornstarch and I'll do about a tablespoon. Let's do 2. Let's do 2 tablespoons. I probably don't need that much. We'll start with a tablespoon, and then I can always add more later. So I just used the same jar that I was using to make, to add the 3 cups of water in. And I'm just gonna start with this slurry. Now that I've got the pan simmering, I'm gonna add this in here. And then use my non-stick tongs to kind of move it around. I can already see the areas where it is thickening, which is always nice. Okay, while that's going, I'm gonna add some fair amount of pepper, finely ground black pepper, and I feel like it could be thicker, so I'll go in and do another. But I also know it's gonna cook down in the oven a bit, so I've added the milk, and I'm gonna add some avocado oil and 1 egg. Okay, everything's in there, the egg's in there. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up and then get it in the pan. Let's Just buttering up this pan, greasing the pan up because I don't have any cooking spray. This may be more than I meant to put in there. It is. That's okay. That's okay. It won't stick. We know that much. I'm going to take some of it out. I'm going to take some out. That's okay. This is what we do. All right, so I'm going to use this pie pan and put in my cornbread. Here it is already. Everything's finally all done, and I want to thank you all, one, for joining me on our Sunday Cook With Me, and just so you can also hear me rant, because you know I talked for a while. But here's the finished product. We've got our smothered baked chicken. I switched the pans out. This one felt more appropriate for what I needed it to do. We've got our roasted potatoes with rosemary and our delicious cabbage with beef sausage, and we can't figure it out. This sweet honey cornbread. So all that being said, remember to keep homemaking and heart shaping. I'll see y'all in the next video.